The rain came down like the sky was trying to erase the world. Daniel Carter tightened his grip on the steering wheel, squinting through the blur of headlights and water streaking across his windshield. It had already been the longest day of his week, maybe his life, and now this storm felt like one more test he wasn't sure he had the strength to pass. In the backseat, his 5-year-old daughter Lily was fast asleep, curled up under a worn pink blanket, her tiny hand clutching a stuffed rabbit with one ear missing. Every now and then, she stirred, murmuring softly, as if even in dreams she felt the weight of their fragile world. Daniel glanced at her through the rearview mirror, his chest tightening. "Almost home, kiddo," he whispered, even though she couldn't hear him. That's when he saw her. A motorcycle stood on the side of the road, tilted slightly, its hazard lights blinking weakly through the storm. Next to it, a woman struggled to keep her balance, one hand gripping the handlebars, the other shielding her face from the rain. Daniel hesitated. He was already late. His boss had warned him that one more delay could cost him his job. Rent was due in 3 days. His bank account barely had enough to survive the week. He should have driven past. He knew he should have. But something about the way the woman stood there, alone, soaked, vulnerable, pulled at something deep inside him. With a sigh, Daniel slowed down and pulled over. "Stay here, sweetheart," he said softly, glancing at Lily. "Daddy will be right back." He grabbed his jacket and stepped out into the storm, the rain instantly soaking through his clothes. He jogged toward the woman, raising his voice over the thunder. "Hey, you okay?" She turned toward him, pushing wet strands of dark hair away from her face. Even in the dim light, he could see that she was striking, sharp eyes, strong features, but there was something guarded about her expression, like she wasn't used to asking for help. "My bike broke down," she said, her voice steady despite the situation. "Engine just died." Daniel crouched beside the motorcycle, inspecting it quickly. "Looks like it might be the fuel line, or electrical. Hard to tell in this weather." "I figured," she replied dryly. "Not exactly ideal conditions." He nodded. "Do you have anyone you can call?" She hesitated, just for a moment. No. The answer felt heavier than it should have. Daniel glanced back toward his car, where Lily slept, then back at the woman. "I can't fix it here," he said. "But I can give you a ride. There's a mechanic shop about 10 minutes from here. They might still be open." She studied him, her eyes searching his face as if weighing something far beyond the offer. "You don't even know me," she said. Daniel gave a small, tired smile. "Yeah, but I know what it's like to need help and not have it." For a second, the storm seemed to quiet between them. Then she nodded. "All right." They managed to push the bike closer to the roadside before locking it up. The woman grabbed a small backpack from the motorcycle, slinging it over her shoulder. As they walked back to the car, Daniel suddenly felt self-conscious, about the rust on his old sedan, about the clutter in the backseat, about the life he had no time to fix. He opened the passenger door for her. "Thanks," she said, slipping inside. He got back behind the wheel, starting the engine again. The heater hummed to life, filling the car with warmth. "Name's Daniel," he said after a moment. She paused, then replied, "Maya." Lily stirred in the backseat, blinking awake. "Daddy, I'm here, sweetheart," Daniel said gently. "Go back to sleep." Lily peeked forward, noticing the stranger. "Who's that?" Maya turned slightly, offering a soft smile. "Hi, this is Maya," Daniel explained. "Her bike broke down. We're helping her." Lily nodded solemnly, as if this made perfect sense. "Okay." Within minutes, she was asleep again. Maya watched her for a moment, something flickering in her eyes. "She's beautiful," she said quietly. Daniel's grip tightened slightly on the wheel. "She's everything." There was a long pause. "Her mom?" Maya asked carefully. Daniel exhaled slowly. "Gone. 2 years now." "I'm sorry." "Yeah," he said. "Me too." They drove in silence for a while, the storm still raging outside, but inside the car, it felt strangely calm. When they reached the mechanic shop, the lights were off. Daniel sighed. "Closed." Maya leaned back, looking out the window. "Figures." Daniel hesitated, then said, "You can't stay out here. Not in this weather." "I'll manage." He shook his head. "No, you won't." She turned to him, a hint of challenge in her gaze. "I've handled worse." "Maybe," Daniel said gently. "But you shouldn't have to tonight." He hesitated again, then made the decision. "You can come to our place," he said. "Just for the night. It's not much, but it's dry." Maya stared at him, clearly caught off guard. "You'd let a stranger into your home?" she asked. Daniel gave a small shrug. I already let you into my car. For a moment, she didn't speak. Then, slowly, she nodded. All right, she said. Daniel's apartment was small. 2 rooms, worn furniture, peeling paint, but it was clean, and it was filled with something money couldn't buy, warmth. Lily woke up just long enough to mumble a sleepy, good night, before Daniel tucked her into bed. Maya stood awkwardly in the living room, taking it all in. You can take the couch, Daniel said. I'll grab some blankets. You don't have to. It's fine, he interrupted gently. She watched him as he moved around the room, setting things up, making sure she was comfortable. You do this a lot? She asked. Do what? Help strangers. Daniel chuckled softly. No, honestly, I barely have time to help myself. Then why tonight? He paused, thinking. Because I hope someone would do the same for Lily someday, he said quietly. That answer hit her harder than she expected. Maya didn't sleep much that night. She lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling, listening to the soft sounds of the apartment, the hum of the fridge, the occasional creak of the floor, Daniel's quiet footsteps as he checked on Lily. It was peaceful, too peaceful. She wasn't used to this. Her world was different, cold, calculated, controlled. Because Maya wasn't just a stranded biker. She was a billionaire, the sole heir to a global empire worth more than most countries' GDPs. And she had been searching. Not for business deals, not for power, for something real, for someone who would see her, not her money, not her status, but her. So she had left it all behind, disguising herself, living anonymously, testing the world. And for the first time in a long time, she felt something. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the small window, painting the room in gold. Lily sat cross-legged on the floor, showing Maya her drawings. And this is Daddy, Lily said proudly, pointing at a stick figure with a big smile. Maya laughed softly. He looks very happy. He is, Lily said confidently. Because of me. Maya's smile faltered just slightly. Daniel walked in, rubbing the back of his neck. Sorry, I overslept. I have to get Lily to school and then head to work. Maya stood. I should go. Daniel shook his head. At least let me take you back to your bike. She hesitated. Then she said, actually, would you mind if I stayed a little longer? Daniel blinked. Sure. Lily clapped. Yay. Days turned into a week. Maya stayed. At first, she told herself it was just until her bike was fixed. But deep down, she knew that wasn't the reason. She found herself drawn to their life, the simplicity, the honesty, the love. She helped Lily with homework, cooked meals, laughed at things that didn't matter. And Daniel treated her like she was just Maya. Not someone to impress, not someone to gain from, just someone. But the truth couldn't stay hidden forever. One evening, as they sat together, Lily asleep in the next room, Maya took a deep breath. There's something I need to tell you, she said. Daniel looked at her, sensing the shift. What is it? She hesitated, then said it. I'm not who you think I am. He frowned slightly. What do you mean? I'm wealthy, she said carefully. Very wealthy. Daniel blinked. Okay, I didn't tell you because I wanted to see how people would treat me without knowing. The room fell silent. Daniel leaned back, processing. So, this whole time, I didn't lie about everything, she said quickly. Just that part. He ran a hand through his hair. That's a big part, Maya. I know. Why tell me now? Because I care about you, she said softly. And I don't want this to be built on something hidden. Daniel stood up, pacing slightly. This is a lot, he admitted. I understand if you're upset. He stopped, looking at her. I'm not upset that you're rich, he said. I'm upset that you didn't trust me enough to tell me sooner. Her eyes filled with emotion. I was afraid, she whispered, that if you knew, everything would change. Daniel was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, it doesn't change what I feel. Her breath caught. But it does change things, he continued. Because now we have to decide what to do with that truth. In the end, the answer wasn't easy. But it was real. Maya didn't offer him money. Daniel didn't ask for it. Instead, they chose something harder. To build something honest. To take it slow. To see if what they had could survive the weight of truth. Months later, Maya stood at the edge of a park, watching Lily chase pigeons while Daniel laughed behind her. Her phone buzzed, a reminder of the empire waiting for her. But for once, it didn't feel like everything. Because here, in this simple, imperfect life, she had found something she had searched for her entire life. Not wealth, not power, but love. And sometimes, love doesn't come in grand gestures or perfect moments. Sometimes, it comes in the middle of a storm. When a tired single dad chooses to stop his car and change both their lives forever.